What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the Chrysler Rescue. This is a 1964 Chrysler Newport that had been off the road for at least 22 years. This thing sat under a carport its whole life, one owner, and unfortunately was hauled off to the scrapyard when they passed away. But thankfully, he was rescued. And in our last video, we got the opportunity to bring this thing back to life. We were able to get that 361 big block Mopar fired back to life. We rebuilt the brakes and we got this thing back out on the road. Now in today's video, we want to get this thing totally ready to go cruise. What we want to do is a full detail, interior, exterior. We want to see if we can revive this old paint. We want to rip all that interior out, clean everything up, pull apart what we can of the carpet that is left in this thing, get fresh carpet in it, get it all cleaned and back together, address the fuel system. This thing did run a little warm, so we also want to go through the cooling system, address and take care of that horrible exhaust system, and then get back out on the road and cruise. I just want to start off this video with apologizing. I know I said our very next video would be the completion of the Buick Electra, and although we have everything except for a couple panels done, it has been 100 degrees for weeks straight, or nearly 100 degrees, and nearly 100% humidity. And you can probably see the dehumidifier over there. We have fought to try to get the humidity down, and we even attempted it, and it hazed pretty good. And we did a lot of working to get everything as smooth as possible, and the paint is just not going to lay out until we have at least a few days of low humidity. I do want to apologize for that. I was really hoping to have it done, and I know a lot of you were hoping to see it completed. I think first thing is first, let's get this thing clean. I love bringing these things back so much and seeing the transformation and attempting to bring them back. You know, I think most of this paint is original. There's a couple spots that have been touched up, but I think it'll clean up pretty good. I think our best bet though, because we'd like to get in here and clean all of these jams really good because they're so nasty while we're in the process of doing that. So let's yank the interior out, at least what we're gonna yank out of it. We'll pull all the seats out. We want to get all this carpet out of here because it is just completely disintegrating from years of condensation and moisture. So we want to get all of that out of there, have the seats out where we can clean them up, and then we can get in here and spray these jams out and get them really clean without worrying about soaking our seats or anything. How cool are these mats? Predicta? These are definitely going back in this thing. And something else we need to get cleaned out is this. Sheesh. There you'll notice the front floor mat, Predicta, just the same, and it's actually like super nice and pliable. And there are those original hubcaps to the car still hanging out. That piece of missing trim. This thing's actually like super solid. It's got some where it had some water in here, but it's flaked the paint up, but like super crazy solid still. Some nice carpet. I should probably get some gloves and a mask on. Want to make sure we get up all the flaky paint so we can clean and treat this trunk.
made more.
Thank you, Chrysler, for putting the nuts underneath so we can get the seat out of here easy. Hey! Free screwdriver. Oh. Oh my gosh, those are awesome. Well done. Super solid, not so much. Not so much. I mean, all things considering, it's not horrible. And obviously, just by like the trunk, you can tell this thing was like super dry, and then it got pulled out from where it was stored, and it's probably been out for a couple years at least, and obviously it's just been sitting slap full of water since. With everything knocked down and clean up, we're gonna soak all of the floor that we're not replacing down with this Duplicolor Rust Fix. We've been super happy with this stuff. It seems to convert really well, and stuff that we've even just like left outside has not rusted one bit afterwards. And it dries clear on painted surfaces, and on bare metal and rust, it will convert, it'll change black and convert to a paintable surface. And so for like under the floors here, this will be super nice for this. It'll kind of treat everything. We won't have to worry about it rusting any longer. And you'll actually coat it, it'll stay kind of brown, and that tells you you need to coat it again. And once it actually all does turn black, you know that it's actually converted everything properly. You can actually see it already turning black and doing its job. We've done a little shelf shopping and have put together some floors. So we've got some extra Mustang floors, some Firebird floors, some piece of metal floors, Nash floors, shelf floors, and I think we'll have enough to get this thing solidified. Now the lines won't necessarily, the ribs won't necessarily go the right direction, but when you buy aftermarket pans, they don't anyway. So it'll be nice. This is a good solid piece of flooring. Get us some fresh metal in there, get it solid where we can step and move around in the car. And I think it'll go pretty well. So first we'll measure up, cut out the piece here, lay it in the car, scribe it out, cut it out, and get it welded in. Look at that. All done. Want to be sure this inner panel here gets some weld through primer so we know we don't have any rust underneath, but we can still get our spot welds welded in. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna get this thing completely tacked into place. We'll obviously have to do our spot welds here, and then section to section I'll kind of go around and fill in all of our joints. And the reason I'm doing that is it's not as big a deal on a floor pan as it would be an exterior panel, but if you stay in one spot you'll create a lot of heat, and you may potentially create some warping, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep this thing as, even though it's just a floor pan, as pretty decent as we possibly can. So it's just the next hour of getting this thing tacked all into place. Well, that'll make you dislike spot welding, but that's a whole lot better. The inside gets marinated with this. And underneath, we'll prep. Seam seal. And undercoat our repair area. That's my good floor. Gotta get the bad out so we can put some good in. Well, there you have it. Definitely not our best work not having original panels, but making do with what we had. We have virtually no cost into this. We used pieces and panels of leftover. It's super solid. The rust is taken care of and is with it treated and covered. This is going to last for many, many, many years to come. Once everything has cured, we'll go over all of our joints with a seam sealer here and here. And then we're gonna throw down some sound deadening just to know we have a little bit of extra layer of protection and make this thing even nicer to cruise around in. We've got the seam sealer out. Want to be sure also to hit those spots where the seam sealer came off. And I think that'll do it. You've seen us use this many times. This is just the Silas sound deadening. And this actually comes in little sheets now. And what we're going to be doing is just your main panels here. And what this is going to do is create a little bit of a barrier, but it's also going to help with road noise. I mean, you want this car to be absolutely dead quiet. So you hear, it's actually a pretty nicely sound deadened car, but we can make it even better. This is a massive floorboard. Okay, side mission complete. Now we can finish getting this thing clean. Do the floors hold water now? We don't have to worry about the water evaporating today. Before moving on to cleaning the outside of this car, it would make the most sense the engine bay cleaned up. We've done it before where we detail the outside and then wash the engine bay after, and it just makes a really big mess. So it would be much smarter to clean this first. We'll just use some Purple Power degreaser and a soft bristle brush. We'll cover up all our important stuff, the electronics and everything, get everything taped up and bagged up, and we'll soak everything down, scrub it down, rinse it off, and I think it'll look pretty good. I can see it blasting off. Sweet. Wow. It's like a brand new car under here. The one thing I do notice, probably because of the lack of mileage on this thing, there was lack of oil like most of these big blocks have, and so there's lack of paint, unfortunately. It still does look really nice cleaned up, but if you really wanted to have this thing top notch, a good engine pool scuff paint would make a huge difference, but it does look really nice and original. That dried up quick. Man, does all of the stuff like jams and the engine bay clean up so nicely, and that definitely has us excited for cleaning the exterior. Now, it's obvious by the strips and stripes at some point of time this thing was probably pressure washed. It looks, it's dirty, and it's really chalky. So I think our best bet for initial clean off is a good old magic eraser clean. Now, of course, this is budget build, so we've got some Smile Powwow Amazon specials. They work great. You buy a million of them for like nothing. We'll spray out all our jams. We'll brush everything really good, all our nooks and crannies, and then see how those will do. Hopefully it'll clean up the mildew, the grime, but also help us kind of knock down that top layer paint that is really chalky without going through and having to wet sand and everything, which by the looks of it, we've got a few spots that have been touched up we may have to clean up. Let's dig in and see how it does. It might be a little nicer than I expected. For as long as it sat in a $725 car. Does anybody else enjoy cleaning an old car up? Because that's a lot of fun. I've got to say is, wow, this thing is insane. It's almost all original. I love the off-white, almost Corinthian white like the Fords came with. You can see somebody got carried away with like little rock chips and stuff and sprayed a bunch of paint on it. I think we can kind of sand that down and then just give this thing a really good polish. We've got to be pretty cautious. You can see the top side here is really thin, so we don't want to go crazy buffing away. So as far as hitting these little spots that somebody got happy with, we'll use a 2000 grit sandpaper. We'll keep it really clean, go one direction, and try to keep very minimal scuffs in this thing so we can mostly buff those few spots and then polish the rest of the entire car. And with the exception of a little bit of rust here and there, I think it's going to turn out really nice.
You doing the back, you doing this back door, and I'm going to do the front door. But who's doing the hood?
Oh,
what were they thinking? Thank goodness it's just like spritzed on, but I don't know what they were accomplishing, because I hit this spot as a test spot and there wasn't anything there. Like maybe this little dimple, but I mean, I understand like here and maybe here and maybe here, but like some rock chips. Not complaining, it should clean up.
After fighting and fighting and fighting with the wet sanding, we got quite a ways on this, but the problem is this paint they sprayed is like thick and goopy and it just clogs up the sandpaper. And so we had a thought. You'll probably notice I've got a Carbocan cleaner and a paper towel. The paint on this thing is actually, if you can't tell, it's super dry, but it's really, really nice shape. And so if we get in here and you can see the original paint and then this stuff they sprayed on here, which I assume is probably just a can of spray paint. We might do a little bit of damage to the top side of the paint, but far less than if we sat here sanding on it for hours on end, trying to get it to clear off. So we take this and just go right over that. And as you can see, there's just a little bit of the white. There's not a ton of paint removal. Once we buff this, polish it out, I think it'll be totally okay. So this is still gonna take a while, but I think it's gonna be far easier on ourselves, especially 100 degrees like it is. And it's gonna be a little more gentle on our paint, especially at the edges. Yeah, that's a little easier. What's crazy is, tell me why they sprayed it on here. Thought spray paint was a good idea. I mean, who knows how long it's been there, and maybe it protected the paint some, but my goodness. Well done. How's your last few hours of scrubbing off paint been?
I mean, it looks great. It's gonna look awesome buffed. But holy moly.
With all of that off of there, let's see if we can't get this looking even better. So we've got a cutting pad on our buffer. We've got some 3M 36060, some conditioner. We'll do 3 little dabs. Should be all we need. Condition it, and we'll work in one little area or section at a time. We'll work it in on low, kick it up to high, and then work back and forth and through it until most of our residue is gone, and then we'll wipe it down and it should look pretty good. Hit all of our stainless trim and even some of our glass. Yeah, this one's not gonna be too shabby. Wow, that paint is awesome. The stainless is nearly perfect with a quick buff. Hopefully you all can see okay. This color is kind of tough. Wow, that's pretty. Why would you paint that? To finish everything up and protect our freshly shiny paint, got a finish pad and some Griot's ceramic all-in-one wax. We'll lather it on there, let it kind of dry up a bit. You'll notice we're here in the shade. Once it's sat for a minute, we'll go over it, wax on and wax it back off, and this thing should be, it's already looking pretty stud. It should look really good.
Man, that smells good. Got the wheels wire brushed and cleaned up. Now we can let the air out. And we'll use cards to cover up the tire. Now we do have the original hubcaps, but they're just not my favorite, nor are they Dad's. So I splurged and picked up some on eBay. These are some 1968 Chrysler hubcaps. And this is just a big boat. I think hubcaps, Steelies and hubcaps fit it well, so we're gonna keep it that way. The original hubcaps will stay with the car, but for now, I think this will set it off just a little bit. That's a pretty good looking hubcap. One last glaring issue on the exterior here is obviously this pitiful mirror. Now, I've not seen one for less than $200 online, so we're gonna attempt to solidify this thing. It's in super nice shape. It actually still functions from the inside like it should. We just gotta try to get it in one piece again. So we'll take it loose. So what we're thinking is if we can get this back in place like so, JB weld it from the top side all the way around. From under here we can drill into these arms and tap them, so hopefully we can put some bolts with some washers just to extra reassurance. Even though the JB weld may work, we'd hate for someone to bump it and pop right back off. We want this thing to stay solidified.
Oh yeah, that ain't going anywhere. Now for these wipers, they're pretty neat. You push this little button here, that unlatches, slides out your refill, and then we can slide in our new one. Boop. Bottom's out right there, and slide back in. Just like so. Haha!
Look at the huge spot in the middle of the window that doesn't get wiped.
Oh, it's just gotta work, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, no, that's how it's designed.
Nobody sits there.
The Buick's the same way. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Now that we're done outside, we can move back into this interior. And first thing we want to do is get all of our surfaces nice and clean. Our headliner, our dash, our door panels, and then we can get some carpet put in here. First, we'll spray everything. And then we've got our Harbor Freight steam cleaner. We'll kind of steam it and brush it just a little bit. Oh yeah, clean it right up. Now that we're all clean, our new carpet can go in. This is the original color. Man, it's pretty in there. And you can see the sound deadening. So what we're gonna do is this can somewhat float. So we'll glue the middle. We're gonna glue the front, the rear, and then the sides will be held down with all that trim. We'll be gluing down using this Weldwood contact cement. So what you do is get a coat down where you want it to adhere. Let that sit about 15 minutes until it is nice and tacky but does not string up. And then we'll do a second coat, and we're doing this on the panel and what we're gluing down. And then once it's tacky, you put it down and it's gonna stay there. So make sure you get it right. That's why we've got stuff marked off here. And then once we get this done, we'll do our front and our rear. Once we get our carpet into place, we can trim up our edge a bit here, get our covers back on, and then we take the soldering iron and we can burn our holes back through here. And then this will just shoot, burn it right through. Like so. Steering wheel falling at me. Oh my gosh. Okay, perfect. We'll hit all the fabric with this OxyClean. Right there where it's stained. I love this original mat. It's in such nice shape. Now as for cooling, looking through the stack of receipts that came with this thing, the radiator had been gone through and the water pump replaced not long before this thing was parked and not run anymore. And we had verified the bearings and everything felt great on the water pump. The coolant looks super clean. So I have a good feeling that our cooling comes down to the thermostat. They're super bad to stick or fail. We want to drain this thing down. We're going to pull that thermostat. We'll verify that is the issue. And as long as it is, we'll get a new thermostat in this thing, top the coolant off, and we should be good to go. Oh my. I'd say if we didn't have that tool, we'd have been fixing some broken bolts. Yummy. Yeah. We are having my favorite this morning, some thermostat. So this is a 180 thermostat. What we got going on here is we're gonna verify that it opens up at 180 degrees. Be about there. We've got 183. So the thermostat's not quite at 180. The water is, and we have no movement yet. I'm gonna let it get a little hotter and let's just see. Oh, it finally opened a little bit. It is just barely open though, you see it? Water's 190. I think that's probably got to be why after a period of time the car did start to warm up but didn't run hot immediately to begin with, because it was kind of working but not all the way. Even so, there is some trash in the top of the radiator, some rust particles and stuff, so we'll run a flush upwards from the bottom using a hose and we can verify that the radiator's nice and clean and flows freely. Yeah, needed that rusty. Oh yeah, that cleaned out a good bit of that. That looks nice in there now. Running so good this morning. Quick question. I don't know if you can hear that over camera, but the fuel pump makes this weird noise. And I did a little bit of research and it doesn't seem to be like too uncommon. There's quite a few people that have had this issue with new fuel pumps. It's like making a weird like suction noise. Strange. I think we're totally good to go. And the more this thing runs, the better it sounds, and it does sound good quiet. So if we replace the muffler, we've got a Flowmaster on hand, and I just don't think that's right for this car. It's got a great sound. It's not blown out or rusted out. We need to fix the tip, but I think the exhaust is fairly okay. If we can address that, then we can address the fuel system and we'll be ready to cruise.
Wow, does this thing look awesome from under here. See, the exhaust is super nice. Muffler looks great. Exhaust all the way through. Very clean. Look how clean the transmission is. Engine's not bad. What a nice car.
That's an easy one. Right there at the end. The exhaust is super nice. It's just that. Oh man, brand new exhaust. The last fluid I want to check and verify while we're under here is our differential fluid. We just want to check, make sure it looks good. And if it does, we at least want to verify the level is good. So I hate to burn up an 8 3/4. Oh man, dead full and absolutely clean as a pin. Sweet. I suppose we're down to this right here, and this tank looks awesome. It's never been messed with. The sending unit actually still reads and floats a little bit, but the gas smells horrible. We're talking about 20-something-year-old fuel. It does have a drain. I think it's worth trying to drain it. That's why we got it up on the lift here, and I know it's gonna be awful, but if we can drain it and maybe flush it through and get some fresh gas in it, I think we'll try that. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. Golly, I gotta go. The forbidden sweet tea. Oh.
Yep, that's good.
$5 gallons down and no sign of stopping.
Got the whole shop stinking. Might need to drop that tank, put a sending unit in it, if anything, because it's not reading correctly. That probably didn't work good, did it? Pressure washer did a nice job getting all of that varnish blasted out there. This tank looks awesome. I think we're gonna be totally good to go with a fresh sending unit in here. We get this thing slapped back in and put some fresh fuel in it. But before we put the tank back in, we definitely have some ugly fuel hoses here, and we definitely want to make sure all of our lines are nice, clean, and clear.
Looks brand new once you get the hose off.
Hit it, please, Dad.
Oh yeah, super clean.
Yummy. Ooh, yummy. All right.
If anyone has an idea where the float went from the original one, let me know, because I don't know, does brass disintegrate? First gas in a lot of years. Oh yeah, look at that fuel filter, nice and full. No leaks. Funny sounding fuel pump. Totally leak free. Oh, that's hilarious. Sounds like a normal car now. It is amazing how much difference that goofy little tip made. I think this cool old car is 100% ready to go cruise. We're running on our own fuel. It's cleaned up. The interior's ready to go. It is such an original, honest cruiser. Let's go do just that. This thing is so good. What a time capsule. It's hard to forget how smooth this thing is. The push button's actually growing on me. Me too.
What a fun rescue. What a treat. No, it is not a perfect car, but it is honest, it is original, it's a survivor, and it is such a fun cruiser. And we are so glad to have had the opportunity to bring this thing back. What a shame that a car like this was hauled off for scrap, but now it's back on the road, ready to enjoy once again. Now, of course, with this, I want to give you a quick breakdown. I had mentioned in our first video, we paid $725 for this car. We bought it from a gentleman. We had found it on Marketplace. It did come with an extra set of wheels that he had planned to put on this. We decided not to. They were more of like a mini truck, lowrider style, 5x4.5 wheel. We sold those to a local gentleman for $100, bringing the original cost of this car down to $625. That new carpet, which this thing had to have, was $298.28. The fuel sending unit was $91.46. Oil and filter, $25. Spark plugs, $37.92. These wheels and tires we picked up off of Marketplace for $100. The hubcaps were $37.43. The brakes we spent about $200 doing. The trunk mat we spent $69.54. The belts $35. The thermostat and gasket $12. The floorboards were free. We had a bunch of other little miscellaneous bits and pieces that we had around the shop. We used paint, the stuff for detailing, glue, sound deadening. That was another about $100, putting us at a total, the way you see this car right now, $1,631.63, and a whole lot of elbow grease, but I definitely think it is 100% worth it. If you all enjoyed this rescue, you want to see more like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for our future uploads. If you have been a part of the channel, you're joining us again, we appreciate it so incredibly much. We got to rescue this thing because of each and every one of you, so thank you. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.
I thought we were just doing a tip.
You have a